I said to myself, I said, this is going to be the last email unto
Wow.
God. I said, this is going to be the last email I was going to write.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
And
Wow.
voila, you were there.
Spectacular. Spectacular. I'm so happy that you're here in this podcast because this is right in your backyard. A startup coach and leadership coach. So this is what we want to cover now because I interviewed personally the Minister of Finance of Zimbabwe. I think 6, 8 months ago, maybe a year. Remember? And this is what he told me. He told me, Harry, we're having a process program in our government where we are lending money to the people in the countryside, and they are taking this money, they're growing some tomatoes, and they paying back the loans. And this is the good news that I find, Harry. This is what we found out, that women are paying back the loans better than men. And then they are growing the vegetables, they conducting the business, they're paying back the loans, so then we can get another loan. So he told me that the government is very happy and is very safe lend money to women and to do their own business, you see, because they see risk in the different ways. So for the government point of view, they were extremely happy because it's working financially for them and also encourage the economy. So if that the case, and that's the statistic that is backing up that women are as responsible as men to start a business, to grow a business, why do you think that in UK, where we are based, and all over the world, there is this resistance to get more women entrepreneurs? If you go to the startup world where you are around, you will see that may receive way more funding than women. And if the women is from minorities, Caribbean, another background, still they have less and less opportunity. Why do you think that it's a problem? And what challenge do you face when women from minority come to you and say, look, I want to start my business like everybody else, but you know what? There is 98% less funding for me available than for the rest of everybody out there. So how can you help these people? How can you support these people? Why do you think there is so much resistance for women to be in business?
Okay, do you know what? I really love that question because research and statistics have shown us that where you have females as leaders of organizations, leaders of businesses, these businesses thrive massively, right? They really do thrive. Unfortunately, despite the efforts that women are putting into business and to entrepreneurship, you find so many women striving hard to make end meet, within the family. They're hustling, they're doing businesses, they're working 9 to 5. Women are putting a lot of their efforts and strength into the economy, right? But despite that, there is so much resistance, there is so much barriers and hindrances holding women back from making the most of their potential in terms of building businesses and even other aspects of personal and professional development. And what I think is the problem is, one, it's a societal thing. It's a situation whereby the women is not put on the priority list, either by government, by organizations, even
Why?
with the
Why? Which challenge do you have yourself building your own business,
in
which is
my own
very
business.
successful? We're doing very successful, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, in
So
my own
what
business.
happened?
Okay,
Tell us. Tell us. It was easy
okay.
for you? Do you find something in the way?
Let me tell you, it wasn't really easy for me. I found a lot of challenges and barriers, creating business. As I mentioned in previously, I've got a number of businesses, let's say 3 businesses, and it took me so long. I believe that if I had had more support, my businesses would have thrived even more than where it is.
That's why
There are
you're a
no
startup coach now to help other businesses.
exactly. There are
Same like
no
me. Same like me. For me,
there.
it was so hard to do my businesses with nobody around that now
Yes,
we have people to grow the business. Yeah.
to grow their businesses.
Tell a
You
story.
know,
Tell a story about you growing your business. What was your major setback and how you become this setback?
so there was no help for me. And when I tell people, for example, my coaching business started about 13 years ago. And I didn't even start making money in the business until about 5 years into the business.
Wow. And that's
And
the truth.
I remained consistent to the point that even some family members were saying to me, why are you wasting your time? What do you get from this? So
Why
you
you don't
get
find a
so
job?
much, exactly, so much resentment in what are you trying to do? You're never going to make it. It's never going to happen for you. But I just continued to persist and, keep doing what I can do, develop myself, find people I can speak to. I can help you with this. When my friend was, I had a friend at the time who was running a charity for women and young people, and I'll go there and I'll deliver speeches on how they can start their business, on how they can improve themselves and, get themselves out there. And little by little, I started getting people to notice me, to see that I can do things. Other times when the events are on and she has other guests, say from at the time she used to have guests from maybe banks, she used to have guests from some financial companies, even from Google, and then I will speak there. That was how I started to bring myself out and make people know me. I actually ran for it. Seriously. And in my other business, that I started in about 2019, that's my social care business. That was even tougher because you don't have clients, there is nowhere to get loan, you have to have an office, you have to meet all compliances. And at the time, I was working another job. So I'm going to work a job and use my salary to fund a business that I want to start. And I'm just going to go about asking people, I did flyers into people's homes. They're running this business. I can do this for you. So it took a lot of effort and a lot of resilience, sorry, a lot of resilience. Sometimes you
Do you
think
feel that
I,
people were looking at you and say, like I hear, you're leasing buildings to and provide this accommodation uh, to elderly, which is something that you need to be very skillful because you have to comply with a lot of
yeah,
regulation. You have to lease a building, and then the government will bring you those clients. So this is very regulated in terms that you have to have all the paperwork in place, and so this is a lot of responsibility. Yeah. So do you feel that somebody look at you like, who do you think you are, leasing all this business? You're just women running this. Do you feel that you find some resistance, or at the end of the day you were so confident that finally you find the opportunity? Do you receive some help? Because let's talk about also the positive as well. Yeah.
I know there
Sometimes,
is.
someone that is social responsible investor, somebody in the council, in the authority, they say, you know what, let's empower her. And she's from women. She's empowering minority groups. So let's give some contrast. So do you find also help, or
Okay,
tell us
I
tell us
did,
a bit
I
more?
did, I did find help, but that didn't come until about 7 months after
Wow.
I started business. Like you would literally call them, email them, send them evidence of the things that you've done in the past, and you wouldn't get. I didn't get business for 7 months of opening my first office,
And
my
then what
first
happened?
branch.
Then what happened after month number 7? After you said
And
so
after
many.
7, and let me tell you, after that, I said to myself, I said, this is going to be the last email unto
Wow.
God. I said, this is going to be the last email I was going to write. And it was in July 2019. I said, this is going to be the last email I'm going to write. And I wrote that email. And I said to myself, if that email does not bring anything back, I will just go and, cancel the company because I had
Wow.
had enough. I'd been paying for the office, other things. I'd been preparing. I had a staff member, I had, a staff member, two office staff members that I was paying, no money coming. I was
Running for
working
7 months.
aside. Yeah, I was working a side hustle to pay these people. As in, I was doing a
Hmm.
job, a managerial job to pay, so I said, this is the last email that I'm going to write. And it was that last email that I wrote on that day that I got somebody to respond back to me and then said to
Wow.
me, send us all of these documents. They asked us for some documents and everything. And then I sent them again those documents. And it was that last email that I started receiving contracts from the local authority.
Well,
I mean, I
so
was
what's the
like,
point of the story? The point of the story
so the
is
problem is that
don't give up.
is
What's
that
the point of the
do
story?
not give up. Do not give up. Please
Absolutely.
do not give up. I mean, I could have given up in all of those 7 months. I could have said I wasn't going to write. It was just because I continued, I persisted, I just believed somewhere in me something would happen. And
Yeah.
and
And I
and
think
that happened.
the I always say in this podcast, you see, we say don't give up, right? But remember how many times a fly can go through a glass window. So is a fly will never can go through the glass window, even if it doesn't give up. However, what you can do is change your approach. And I think that what happened in this last
Exactly.
email is because you said this is gonna be the last one. That email you really wrote what you feel, what can you do, you really believe it, and that's why the people get it. And it's a skill. Business is a skill.
Exactly.
The more you practice, the better you become. So
Ex-
the first email, well, maybe it's not
exactly.
written in the way that they want to hear. Then you send
Exactly.
one more,
Exactly.
they're not responding. So that last
Exactly.
email, you change the approach. You
Yes.
wrote in a way that you touch
L-
the heart of these people
l-
rather than trying to get business from them, and they respond, correct?
Exactly. I really wrote the email saying to them that for the past 7 months within this community, we have been engaging with you.
Yeah.
Within this community, I showed that we want to support the people who do need our services. It was so
And then
strong.
let's
And then they
continue. You
felt
say,
it.
yeah. And then let's continue. You said this is the last email that I'm gonna send you. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna close the company. You know what you do? You go to the council, you knock the door and say, listen, I send you 20 emails, I'm here. You don't respond to my email, now you need to listen to me.
I could have done that. I could have done that. But, I was just glad. But I knew that I wrote that email, it wasn't just, I know that I wrote it with all of my strength and everything that I had within me. But I'm glad it worked. It did work.
Look, I'm
Just
so
the same
happy.
way as
Mhm.
I talked about my social care and my coaching business. Before I started making money, before I started getting clients, even my family members were saying this, and I did not listen to them because I knew that I was going to make it. And much later, after I had started doing events and making money from my my coaching, it's the same people who said to me, "You've been wasting your time," that said to me, "Oh, I know you're a coach. Come and coach me. Come and mentor me. Teach me how to do it." So that is so for that. I'm telling people, do not make anybody's opinion of you or whatever they say about you make you think of either quitting or giving up. Yes, just as you said, you can change your approach, but please trust yourself, trust your intuition, and just keep going for what you want, because the same people who probably mocked you, the same people who laughed at you, the same people who said to you you're not serious, or
Mhm.
you're this, you're that, they will come back to you asking
Absolutely.
you to teach them how
Mm.
you have done it when you
Because I
become
think I
successful.
think that I mean there is we always have surrounded the issue. The cause of this is because it's very simple. As entrepreneurs, we are 2% of the population. So, and our environment, there are no entrepreneurs. You have your mom, you have your dad, you have your family. For example, in my family, no one is an entrepreneur. I was the first entrepreneur. My grandpa was an entrepreneur, but he died when I was very young, so he couldn't, never taught me anything. So I'm the first entrepreneur in my whole family. My parents are teachers. Yeah. So then what happened is that you go out there and then your parents say, why I study in the university, why you don't go and find a job? You got a
Exactly.
degree in university. The dream of my parents was for me to study in the university, get a degree, and find a job. So that's what I did. I went to university, got a degree, and then I never used my degree as chemical engineer. Never in my life. Yeah, give them the diploma. They were very happy, and that's it. My life changed and took another direction. So
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.